This is my video response to the question, is the RPG Brigade good for players? Welcome to my channel. I focus on tabletop role-playing games, video games, and science fiction. Caius put up a video asking, is the RPG Brigade good for players? And I think the root core question that he's really asking is it good for GMs, DMs, just to talk among themselves? And one of the things I've always said in many of my videos is listen to your players. They will give you the best ideas. Listen to your the players that are around the table, or if you're on electronic hangout or Google Hangouts or whatever, listen to what they're saying and take notes. They'll give you ideas that you can use later. I have pulled out my books that are up on the shelf, notebooks filled with ideas over the years, and pulled out ideas that I wrote 20, 30, 40 years ago. Yes, I have been gaming that long. So I pull out some ideas that are maybe 30, 40 years old, even 20, 10, 5 years ago that I heard about, and I use them in a situation. And that causes the most interesting reactions often with players. And for me, the best time I have as a DM is when my players sit and spend time trying to figure out what they're going to do. When I present them with a challenge that makes them try and decide. I'm thinking of one scenario where in World of Tiglath, that the characters were presented with a real moral challenge. They are the sort of the ultimate quest of the campaign is to throw over the Marzar. And they get approached, they get a note, and they meet a young boy in the graveyard at midnight who plans to kill a high-ranking officer in the Marzar. Now the party has seen what the Marzar will do, and the boys have, shall we say, an interesting plan that will probably work. But they have this problem. Do they stop the boys? Because the boys are so gung-ho, they want to do this because they know what the outcome will be. And unfortunately, the party is debating. What do we do? Do we go all in and, what's the phrase, damn the torpedoes full speed ahead? Or do we hide back, shrink back? What do we do about these boys who are going to try and kill a general? And it all goes bad. It all goes very, very bad. And the party then is presented with that you're caught, the general didn't die. Actually, they missed the boy. He said the general is now demanding who is going to die and who is going to live. And they have this moral dilemma. Do they give up the boys? Or do they take the lumps themselves, though they're not the guilty ones? So they tell the truth, which is interesting, and which is a moral dilemma for them. But that is the kind of game that I like, which is where I give the player characters the real challenge. So when I talk about this in the RPG Brigade, I'm talking about how I come up with ideas, and most of that is from players and just writing down. I said the greatest thing a DM can do is to have a notebook where you can write down ideas as the game is going on. They're not for the current game. Probably. They may be. But they're notes for future games, future ideas. Because players, as they're joking amongst themselves, as you're having fun, and if you're around the table munching on chips, they may come up, make some comment, and you just write it down. And that you can pull out later. So what happens is sharing those type of things with other GMs, I think, is a very good thing. Because now you're producing a shared knowledge of ideas and techniques and things that you've heard over the years that maybe no one has played. I have a whole bunch of ideas that I've presented as options to players, and no one seems to be interested in following at that moment because some other opportunity seems like a better option to go after. And that's the way I tend to play. So is the RPG Brigade good for players? I think so, because it gives a place for DMs and GMs to exchange ideas. How you actually run it is a different matter. I know that when I play, and I don't play that often, I'm not that good of a player. And I think I'm a much better GM than I am a player, and I often have do some unusual things as a player, which upsets parties. That we won't get into that. But the RPG Brigade is a place to give ideas, to voice things, to bounce things off the wall. And you can, for me, I can sit back and just listen, watch some videos, let's take down some notes and ideas for things I can use later or in the current campaign I'm looking at. But I always plan ahead, write down ideas for something you'll use down in the future. So I think the RPG Brigade is good for players because it gives the GMs an opportunity to get ideas that they can introduce into their campaign. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe 5, 10, 15, or if you're like me, 40 years from now. I hope to be gaming 40 years from now. But that's, that would be, shall I say, probably a bit optimistic. I don't think, 40 years from now I'd be over 100. But that'd be fun to be gaming. That gives a little bit about my age away. But like I said, I've been gaming 40 years. So I think the RPG Brigade is great. It gets an opportunity to talk to others. And I thank Caius for coming up with this idea. It's an interesting question. What do you think? Do you think finding a place where you can share ideas between GMs and DMs and various things like that, do you think that's a good idea? I think it's a great idea. I'd love to hear your comments. I look forward to learning what you think about this video. Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate all your comments. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give me a thumbs down. I appreciate both forms of feedback. If you're new here and would like to subscribe, you can click on the icon on the left. If you're interested, there's more content on the right.